Leaders of Tomorrow Season 10, 10 seasons of empowering entrepreneurs, 10 seasons of recognizing innovation. I'm Sananda Jayasseelan. On the show tonight in our first segment, as part of our Eye on Dubai series focusing on innovation coming out of the Dubai UAE market, my colleague is in conversation with the Dubai Future Foundation. Also in our second segment in the hot seat tonight, talking about the top trends when it comes to wealth management is WealthDesk. In our Eye on Dubai series, let's head on over to Karen. She's joining us from on the ground there. Karen, I'm quite curious to understand what exactly the Dubai Future Foundation does. You know, we've been seeing all these pictures of what looks like a fantastic building and a fantastic museum, really. But, you know, what was the planning like? What went into that? And you're also in conversation with the management, so it's over to you.
Hi, Sananda. The much anticipated Museum of the Future opened last month, a masterpiece in design, technology and architecture, and is one of the initiatives of the Dubai Future Foundation. The vision of the foundation is to make Dubai a leading city of the future. And earlier I spoke with Khalfan Belhoul, CEO of the foundation, to talk about this iconic building and the exciting initiatives of the foundation. Congratulations on the successful opening of the Dubai Museum of the Future. It's been several years in the making and it's already an icon. What has gone into the design, building and planning of the museum?
First of all, thank you for having me, and you maybe emphasized on one thing that we've been witnessing for the past 6-7 years, which is the making of the museum, and we've been seeing it across our offices, which overlook the project. So it was an unbelievable feeling of looking at the PowerPoint slides and the documents and the drawings of this building, and it literally being built in front of us is just a dream come true. Walking into the lobby now and seeing people actually walking and queuing up for something that was a dream or a design that had came to reality. So it's an unbelievable feeling.
What makes the museum unique and what type of people are you looking to attract here?
I mean, what makes the museum unique in comparison to any typical museum, one is obviously this is a museum that displays the future in comparison to museums that usually present the past. And there's a very challenging component to this in the typical museums, and as good as they are, the displays that they show appreciate and value with time. Whereas in a future relevant museum, whatever is futuristic today can be obsolete in 6 months. So we had to be really put a lot of effort in ensuring that the immersive journey of the museum is always future relevant, which means that we need to first of all take the guests into the really far future and the imagination. What would it look like to live in space? How can we leverage the access of space? And I'm trying not to reveal much on this show because I want people to come and witness it themselves, but we take them really to a far future. There's a lot of emphasis also on the importance of humanity and the well-being of the human being as technology. But like I said, it's an immersive far future, all the way to a floor that focuses on the nearer future, where people would like to see the new gadgets and the new technologies that can be in the market in the next couple of years. So it's a combination of a dream, which is extremely far, to something that's more tangible and nearer to us. The most important, I think, component or vision behind this museum is that His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid wanted to institutionalize future foresight. It happened as an idea a few years back in the World Government Summit, which is an annual gathering that happens in Dubai. So the idea was, let's institutionalize future foresight, let's create an example to the world, and let's create that convening here in Dubai and open it for the rest of the world. I mean, thankfully to the vision of the leadership, Dubai and the UAE have become a hub, whether it's a financial hub, a touristic hub, a trade hub. And I think opening up innovation and creating hope for entrepreneurs and scientists and futurists to really test new ideas is probably the biggest catalyst for innovation. And His Highness Sheikh Mohammed always promotes Dubai as the lab of the world. And lab of the world doesn't mean that it's physical testing, but it can also be policy testing and policy penetration and amending regulations to favor the advancements of technology. This obviously comes with a risk, but if you mitigate that risk and create a safe environment for testing the cryptocurrencies, the blockchains, the 3D printing, the autonomous mobility, all the advancements that are inevitable, they will happen whether we like it or not. It's how and when you test them and when you implement them. And this requires agile governments and governments that listen. And this is the most important catalyst in advancing economies to become future relevant. And the Museum of the Future will play a major role for those dialogues and for action items to come out of those dialogues.
Your opening has coincided with an exciting time in Dubai with Expo 2020. How has the museum built on the progress made by Expo 2020?
So obviously, Expo has been an amazing event for the past 5 months. And I think the fact that the museum came towards the closing curtains of Expo are big signs of continuation of what has happened in Expo. Expo focused on many topics of future relevancy, sustainability, and beyond. And I think you can put it in a way where the Museum of the Future can carry that torch and continue it on a basically never-ending basis in the sense of having Dubai always listen to future relevant topics and ensure that there are initiatives and outcomes that can come out of the convenings that happen here.
The Museum of the Future is part of Dubai Future Foundation. How is the foundation working towards ensuring the city's economy is future-proof and ready for potential crises?
So the Dubai Future Foundation, like I said, oversees the Museum of the Future, but it also works on shaping the future of Dubai and pushing for Dubai to be the leading city of the future. The word future is extremely agnostic. It could mean future of health, future of telecommunication, future of mobility, climate change and its future. So the question is, what do we focus on and what do we do about it? And the research arm or the foresight arm or the think tank really focuses on that. Then we also have a full department that disseminates all those efforts into different reports, digital and physical. We also have an academy that educates the people about the future, but we also have action projects that actually test those innovations, whether it being working with startups or whether it's amending regulations in favor of innovation, or it introducing new ideas such as the 1 million coders program to ensure that we have additional coders that can align to the demands of the future. So there's research, there's content dissemination, there's education, but there's also testing new projects agnostically through different advanced sector, and last but not least, showcasing the future through the Museum of the Future.
The Dubai Future Foundation launched the Future Opportunities Report, the Global 50, which looks at promising opportunities in future sectors in the next 50 years. What were the key findings of that report?
The topic, it's an extensive report, talks about the importance of augmented reality, virtual reality, the importance of what we've experienced in the past 2 years with the pandemic and the complete change of the working environment, how education will evolve as well, what will happen to the health sector through telemedicine and the involvement of telemedicine. So it's an extreme agnostic report that covers all those topics and beyond, but rest assured this will be an evolving document and a living document that gets renewed on an annual basis.
What are some of the other initiatives that Dubai Future Foundation is planning?
We like to be the platform of hope for new ideators. So one of the programs we had as well is the Dubai Future Accelerators, which is not your typical incubation or accelerator program. It's a connection point between innovators, government agencies, and venture capitalists. So the idea is that whenever there's a startup that has a solution for a government challenge, the program creates scalability for those startups through procurement contracts from government agencies, which is not a typical thing that the government can do, because governments usually like to play it safe and deal with bigger corporations. But this is also another sign that there is more agility here in giving innovators more hope, signing government contracts and procurement with them. If one idea succeeds, you're creating disruption, you're creating hope, you're creating even more jobs and opportunities. So I think if it's managed in the right way, it really creates a more inclusive innovation ecosystem.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Afwan. Thank you.
The Dubai Future Foundation and the Museum of the Future are a testament to the belief that leading a city in the present isn't enough. It's the future that must be imagined, inspired and designed. Back to you, Sananda.
All right, Karen. Thank you so much for that interview. Hopefully we'll get to see that in person soon. Let's slip into a short break. On the other side, we're talking about the top trends when it comes to money management in 2022 with WealthDesk. Back in just a moment. Welcome back. With us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight in our Wealth First segment in the hot seat is WealthDesk. Trend that we want to talk about, again, you mentioned that briefly, that is as far as a long-term view on the markets is concerned. What's the best way to do that? Would you recommend that SIPs for a small retail investor perhaps is the best way to do it? Or you invest directly in the market, but you stay invested for the long term? What do you recommend?
Yeah, SIPs are a great way to average out because you can't time the market. So better to time your day every month or every quarter and just deploy and wait, average out in the long run. It's a great disciplined way to actually control your behaviors. The other is obviously that when you invest in any asset class, whether it is your real estate or equities or FDs or anything, you still need to look at your overall investment goals. So you need to be very well prepared in terms of understanding your overall asset allocation. Asset allocation is something which is not talked about in India very well, is that how you deploy your money between equities, gold, ETFs, real estate and fixed income assets, and how to change that asset allocation over time. You should definitely stay invested in the long run, and I think diversification is the best way. Whether you take create a very diversified portfolio on your own, or take portfolio approach to different themes, sectors, asset classes, and build a portfolio versus trying to have concentrated bets on specific stocks. That is not right for a retail investor.
The next and the last trend that I do want to talk about is, asset reallocation. And that's also from everything that we've been discussing with several experts like yourself, is something that's been brought about in some sense due to the pandemic. You were talking about people looking at their portfolio, gold, land, etc. Is there a thumb rule that you would recommend to say that this perhaps, depending on what your goal is, of course, this perhaps should be an ideal sort of split when it comes to the investments that you have? So
let's say you have a day job as an engineer, let's say in a great company, right? So you have a very great career growth because you are an engineer, you're the hottest, you have a hottest skill set at your hand. Yeah. So you can have a portfolio which has a larger 10 to equities, let's say 70%, for example. As a disclaimer, this is not an advice, but trying to say that if you are young, you are in a sector where you are your primary source of income is going to grow very aggressively, then you can take a very a portfolio approach of, let's say, having higher tilt on equities. But let's say your day job is itself in equities market. Let's say you're working with some broker or an exchange or a platform which is directly exposed to equities market. Then maybe because your primary income is also linked to markets, for example, then you have to plan your overall asset allocation rightly. So the human capital understanding of what you are, your age, your risk appetite, how much savings you have, what are your chances of needing money in the coming time, and then deciding your financial capital allocation between different asset classes. That's how you need to approach this problem. But very simple, easy way to look at it, not trying to be very scientific, but people can build these approaches and gradually build a very meaningful portfolio.
Okay, let's come back to the business of WealthDesk. And my question is, why does a broker have to say, for instance, and you answered it somewhat in your opening answer, but I just want to come back to that and say, why, for instance, go through a platform like yours and connect with consumers? What about those small businesses that are perhaps working directly with, consumers and clients? What are the benefits of perhaps coming onto a platform like yours?
Yeah, so WealthDesk as a platform is a very deep tech platform, in the sense it's a very deep tech investment technology platform, where on one side we enable managers to create portfolios who have the relevant SEBI licenses, and on the other side, making it discoverable and easily transactable on the broking platform. Now, brokers' focus area is to build an efficient transaction platforms, while WealthDesk sits on top of that as an investment technology platform. Actually, we call ourselves now as the UWI layer, or the Unified Wealth Interface layer on top of broking. So this layer enables brokers to provide very meaningful wealth solutions in the form of wealth baskets to their retail investors, and continue to focus on making their transactional platforms very efficient, their consumer experiences as a broker to open accounts and manage your transactions efficiently, while WealthDesk does the heavy lifting of providing an investment technology platform to bring these portfolios at scale to the brokers. Now, you brought a very good point, is this only for large brokers or smaller brokers, regional brokers? Now, interestingly, WealthDesk as a platform has been able to bring in regional brokers also into this foray, into this platform. So which means that today I work with a broker sitting in tier 2, tier 3 cities, as well as the big discount brokers, including Paytm Moneys of the world. So, and Motilals, IFLs, and the Anand Rathis of the world. So we work with brokers all across the spectrum, including regional brokers who use this technology to bring in curated portfolios to retail investors. So from a democratization of accessibility point of view, the platform has ensured that it works both for the India and the Bharat kind of broking market. So which means all the kinds of consumers are able to access these solutions through their broking platforms.
Okay, you were talking about what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, and I just want to go back to that. And from an international perspective, all the Fed action that's expected to play out the rest of this year, the monetary policy action here in India as perhaps also a reflection of what's happening globally and what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. All of this, what sort of impact are you expecting it will have on the markets here, the broader markets?
So the broader markets, if you look at even India, like most of the volatility is coming because a lot of FII monies, there's an outbound exits from FII money because of this war-like situation and the Fed tightening. But purely from an India story point of view, because the good part is equities market is very well now supported by domestic money, including the retail money. So that way, I am not seeing that the corrections will be severe in the shorter term, and it is a good time actually to deploy more money aggressively over a period. So I would look at it as an opportunity, especially as an Indian retail investor. While globally there would be continued volatility and money will be going out of India from equities market by FIs, but domestically we are well placed. The India story is good. The result seasons were meaningfully okay. So overall I see, and obviously the kind of businesses being the kind of a capex story that we are looking at from businesses around their growth in India and all. I'm very bullish that it is a good time to actually deploy more money in markets because of the global volatility.
Do you have anything else that you want to add? You had spoken about the gateway, you've spoken about Wealth Basket specific to your business. Anything else that you want to add?
As a business, our forward-looking approach to actually make sure that we bring as many brokers on our platform through our under our unified wealth interface vision. So we have launched this product called Embedded WealthDesk Gateway. It is like a UPI layer where we bring in broker on one side, and this WealthDesk Gateway can be embedded into any consumer platform so that customers can do transaction directly through the broker like they do payments on any consumer platform. So which means that we are looking of interesting use cases being created for retail investors around how to consume stock research, market news around their portfolio in a contextual setup. If you look at payments, lending, and a lot of contextual businesses have been created. For example, on an e-commerce app, you can underwrite your, you can get on-demand credit card. So these use cases are created because somebody in open credit card service inside an e-commerce app, or a travel insurance inside a flight booking app. We are trying to bring such interesting investment use cases through our embedded WealthDesk gateway, because on the same, let's say on a consumer property where somebody is consuming a market news, they want to do something with their investments. Sure. There itself, they can log in with the broker and transact. So those kind of use cases we are building. And we will continue to bring many brokers on our platform so that we expand the market beyond like DIY only digital customers, bring in more regional brokers so that they can serve their end customers. So we will continue to build on that and make Wealth Baskets go mainstream in India and Bharat.
Wishing you all the very best for that, Ujjwal.
Thank you.
Those then were the top trends as far as making and managing your money and wealth management is concerned for 2022. We'll bring you more such conversations here on the show. For tonight, though, it's a wrap. If you have any feedback for us, our contact details on your screens as we speak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.